When Dr. Mary Harper and Dr. Herman Thomas arrived at UNC Charlotte in the 1970s, the winds of social and political change still lingered in the air. Hundreds of students were embarking upon an educational and intellectual journey that was exciting but unfamiliar. Many were first-generation college students. Harper and Thomas gave them direction to help them chart a course on their new journey. As a way to pay tribute to their contributions and highlight their legacy, the Harper-Thomas Legacy Endowment for Study Abroad has been created.
The main reason I thought it was important to recognize both Dr. Harper and Dr. Thomas is when we came to UNC Charlotte, we were on a journey and a lot of us really didn't know where we would end up. And what Dr. Thomas and Dr. Harper provided us was a roadmap that helped us understand who we were as individuals and also how to best navigate the course here at UNC Charlotte.
There was an opportunity to help them develop self-confidence, to feel equal, to learn how to function in a multicultural society, to develop a sense of pride, to help them develop leadership abilities. Some of these students came not realizing the potential that they possessed. And it was as if we were the key that unlocked this door to their potential.
We all worked together for a common purpose, and that was to make sure that entering first-generation students in particular got the maximum chance to succeed at UNCC.
From that perspective, what I learned from really both Dr. Thomas and Dr. Harper is to be the best you can be, and they both did a lot to, if you will, instill that in us when we were here.
Their work, however, was not restricted to the campus or the city. Both Harper and Thomas recognized the need for students to become citizens of the world.
So many of them were from isolated communities, had never been around people of other ethnicities.
Along with that came the idea that if you're going to study the sources of cultural traditions and African American experience in particular, you needed to know something about Africa. And so we were able to, in the early years, get students to go to Africa and incidentally visited several other locations on the way to and/or from.
Dr. Harper and Dr. Thomas helped set the stage for students' study abroad experience. Using their own resources and community support, they and some of their colleagues introduced many students to another reality, a different world, a global perspective.
The way it advantaged me is when we started signing international contracts at work, I was always the first person that was on everybody's lips in terms of, hey, she's been to international business courses, she's the right person to lead the project. And it made it an easy situation, having been through that training, to integrate within, international teams. I was working with people from Switzerland, Great Britain, and places like that. And had I not experienced that, I don't know if it would have been as easy a transition for me to work with those teams.
With a minimum of $75,000, the Harper-Thomas Legacy Endowment will provide a perpetual merit-based scholarship to support international educational experiences. Preference for the award will be given to self-identified, first-generation college students from underrepresented populations.
There's a need for students to experience cultures that are not the same as their own.
And this is the advantage of traveling abroad. You get to the experiential learning.
We believe very much in experiential learning before that term became to be popular.
And it enhances the whatever field they're studying.
This past summer, I actually went on a faculty-led Mount Zion Dig project, and it was led by Dr. James Tabor and Dr. Diane Zablotsky. I had not traveled outside of the country before that. This was actually my first experience abroad. I definitely learned a lot of lessons that I don't think I could learn in a standard classroom setting. It was a lot to do with just dealing with diversity, but there were also things of archaeology that we learned in the field that we couldn't necessarily learn from a lecture in a class or hearing a professor speak on the topic. But I do believe that going to Jerusalem And going abroad for my first time did change my life, change my perceptions.
The way we would hope people would donate is to give a minimum of $49. We would also like to suggest that to give a tribute to the year that you graduated, that you could give, let's say if you graduated in 1981, you could give $81. And we like to maximize any contributions that you give. So if you work for a company that has matching grants, if you could utilize that vehicle, it would be appreciated. And we'd also like to take this opportunity to say thank you for considering contributing to the fund to recognize the legacy of Dr. Harper and Dr. Thomas.
I would just like to say thank you to Dr. Harper, Dr. Thomas, and the other pioneers that kind of led the way for students like myself, because without them going and striving through the challenges and all that, it would have made things a lot harder for myself. So they were able to do good things, which enabled me to be able to do good things also.
The world, in fact, the universe, is a place of opportunity.